so now we are going to continue with the assembling of our doll. So we have now cut out the pattern, stitched it, and stuffed it. Just to talk a bit about the stuffing, this is what my head would look like once it is stuffed. My arms are stuffed, my legs are stuffed, then I've covered it with a jersey. Check out your instruction manual that will explain how we've covered this, but it's quite easy. So now we are going to be looking at closing up this doll body and starting the assembly. So what is important to know about this doll body? We want to make sure that we stuff this quite firmly because our doll is going to be, the entire integrity of our doll is going to be depending on this. The same with our legs. Our legs are stuffed quite firmly because this is going to hold the entire doll head, clothes, hair, everything is going to be standing on this. Let's just get this closed up. Remember we said we're going to use a little dowel on the inside of this doll body just to keep the head nice and sturdy. You can use something that is similar to a pencil in length and width. Okay, so let's put this aside. So let's just continue with this doll body. So what we want to do before we fill it up, we're just going to fold this over about that centimeter. You're going to fold it over between a half a centimeter and 1 centimeter. You can fold this over. So what we're going to do now is we're going to close this. Okay, so we're basically going to continue folding it over and then threading our needle. So we're going to continue with that all the way around. Okay, so now we're getting to the end. So what we want to do now, as soon as we pull on this little thread, you'll see it starts to gather. But before we close it up entirely, we want to keep on stuffing this. Remember your dowels now going to go inside like that. So we're just going to keep on filling that up until we're happy that it's nice and full. Just make sure that your dowel stays nice and center. Okay, so let's see if we start pulling this. You'll see where there's some more gaps that you can fill up. Okay, I think now we've stuffed it enough. Let's start pulling this thread tight. Remember, we're not too concerned about what this is looking like. We're going to cover this with a doll head cover so no one is going to see your stitches and the thread. Just make sure, keep on checking the stuffing as you pull it tighter so that you make sure that it's filled enough so that when you attach your head, there's enough filling to keep it in place. Okay, so let's see where we are now. So I think we're just about there. We can now just fasten this off. So there we are. I think we're fairly happy with what it looks like. The stuffing, you don't have to worry about that. All of that is going to disappear. Okay, so now that we have done that, the next thing we are going to do, this little ball head, we are now going to attach. But before we attach it, the one thing you should remember is this doll head cover. You should get it over the body first before you start to attempt the head, to attach the head. Don't be fooled. These little seams should not be aligning up with those because they should be on the side of the doll's head. So we're just going to turn them until we kind of satisfy that they're on the side. So now you are ready to start the next step. You want to be looking for the side that's quite nice and even. So now in this step, we want a nice and thick needle. It doesn't have to be that long. Nice sturdy thread, and then we're going to start to attach this head. Okay, so when we attach the doll's head, we are going to be working in an up and down motion. As you go up, you're catching some of the head's fabric. As you come down, you're catching some of the body. You keep on doing that all the way around. And as you continue sewing this head to the body, just make sure that it's still even and it's not flopping to one side. Okay, so let's get started. As you keep on pulling tight, make sure that your head is even and then you continue. Coming down, I'm catching some of the fabric again. As I go up through the doll head, I'm catching fabric coming down. Okay, so we keep on checking it to make sure that it's straight and not falling to one side. Okay, so now I'm at the beginning again. So I just want to check my head if I'm happy with it. And maybe if you want to make sure that it's nice and sturdy, you can go another round. So let's do that because the second one tends to be much easier than the first one. So see what it looks like. It looks quite even to me all around. I'm just going to continue with this. Okay, so now we have reached the beginning again. We are now going to end this off so that we can carry on. So the next step is now we want to be putting over this doll head cover, over the doll's head. This is going to be depending on how much stretch you have in your fabric. This is going to be a bit of challenge. What I suggest is put this baby on your lap, then it's going to be much easier if you can pin the body down with your legs and try and get it covered. Okay, you want to make sure that these side seams are at the side of the doll's head so that it doesn't come to the front more on one side than the other one. So just pull it tight and you'll see the seams tend to lie flat, but as soon as you've got your hair attached, you won't even be seeing this. Okay, just check that you're happy with it before you attempt to sew this closed. We're going to pull this one a bit down as soon as we attach it down here, or fasten it down here. Okay, so now we're going to follow the same principle in just closing this. Just get a bit of thread. Now we want to start on the one side. We're also going to thread this all the way around. Okay, so now we've reached the beginning again. So what we're going to do is we're going to gather this. See, as soon as you start pulling it, it gathers it in the same way as we did with the doll body. So that is about enough. And you can just fasten this off. I like to attach it to the head, then I know fastened it's not going to come loose anytime. So yeah, fasten it to the head. Just going to keep on doing that until I see there's no more movement. See, if I pull it now, it doesn't gather anymore. Okay, so we can just fasten this off then. So now we've done that. Now we can just attach this doll head cover to the body. So we want to be attaching it to the doll body in the same manner. Okay, now you can fasten this off as well. Okay, so now your doll head is attached to the doll body.